Hey, it's Checkmate, and welcome back for another challenge. Today we are trying to beat the game without using a single attack dice. Although this sounds impossible, there are actually a ton of alternative methods in the game to dealing damage than just the attack dice. Here's the story of how I attempted this challenge. This was actually done on stream, so check out my VOD if you want to see the full run, and join me this Friday live as I attempt a brand new challenge. Give the no attack dice challenge a quick try yourself and comment below if you were able to succeed. So the first challenge here is to beat the first fly without playing an attack dice. The only way to deal damage in the first fight starting immediately is with Lucifer and his starter relic Scarlet Flask. This relic gives Lucifer 2 stacks of the poisonous modifier, and an additional stack every time he takes damage. The poisonous modifier applies its stack value as poison to a random enemy, and poison of course deals its stack value and damage at the end of the turn, losing 1 stack when it does. It's a bit complicated and a bit grindy, but it works, and it keeps us in the parameters of the rules.
So these dice here, red dice, bad. Don't play those.
To clarify, I am not allowed to play any attack dice, including the variants. I will have to win with indirect damage and damage from relics. This drastically changes the way I need to play. I need to build a deck that is good for stalling until the poison can do its work.
I think we need to take more block. That's going to be our friend. Block is our friend until we can get... heal could be our friend too. Might be nice to have a friend heal dice.
I'm also planning to avoid battles until I get a better way to deal damage. This is counter to my normal strategy, but I have to do it. As the second fight here shows, I will just take way too much damage with my current starter build.
Wow, I need to get rid of some of these dice. That's way too much. Let's go with the block die, because we need more block die and we need to get rid of the attack die.
I was able to pick up a few freebies from the next few tiles, some max HP, an upgrade from my boost dice, and a relic, but I could tell during my next battle that it wasn't going to push my run forward. However, my ship came in at the event tile after. The search for water option gave me a choice of uncommon dice. As luck would have it, one of those was a D4 poison die.
Oh, there's poison. Okay, poison. It is glass, but it's poison.
Although the next shop did not have a property removal option, it did have gravity, which I knew from past experience could counteract the glass without removing it.
Oh, or I could just put gravity on this and then I don't have to worry about removing glass. Yeah, let's do that.
Since I had saved the glass poison die, I was then able to use the single shred tile to discard one of my useless attack dice. However, I discovered a bug or something that broke the interaction and exiled my poison die at times. This is a huge example of why I needed that poison die to work, just for my own sanity.
Now we're back to the very slow, grindy, slowly stacking up poison. Wow, please die. Wow, okay, let's stack up some more poison. Yep, there we go, just a little more. There we go. All right, just this couple more turns. We're almost there, a couple more turns. One more turn. All right.
I tried to test the bug behavior a bit in the next elite battle, but it seemed to be a pretty rare occurrence. I got the Bob the Bob relic, which was an awesome addition since it helps gain block, but more importantly, it's another source of attack. I also got a terrain die, which is super powerful, and then...
Ooh, free flash? I'll take free flash, yeah. Sign me up.
With that last minute addition, I entered the Area 1 boss fight against the Scorpion. This was an odd fight to say the least.
Doesn't matter at all what I play to target him, because I'm just going to have to kill him with poison, that is all.
I used a fortified potion to help avoid damage on turns when I did not draw in enough block due to hand size, and the poison die made short work of the boss. I could tell that I had the makings of a successful run. I drafted in the Unfaulty Mirror as a reward, which is always a powerful die and could complement the use of flash terrain. The main weakness I had going into Area 2 was the size of my hand, particularly the 2 attack dice that were, for me, completely worthless.
So we got to get through the next area without playing any attack dice at all. It would be great if I had a shred tile. There's no shred tiles.
At the first forge, I improved my dice, making my terrain able to roll 6s, and also making my mirror only roll 2s, which is super powerful for Lucifer. The Area 2 boss fight was the Mantis duo. This fight actually played pretty well into my build. The small chip damage helped to boost the poisonous flask, even though my poison die was doing most of the heavy lifting. They have pretty low HP too, which helped to avoid the grindiness of a lot of fights. I was able to save my glass heal die and end on full health. One of my favorite things about challenge runs is how differently they make you play and change the way you see the game. For example, by resolving never to play an attack die, I suddenly realized how central they are to the game.
All right, Mantis Bros, complete. Blindfold of Rage. You don't realize how many relics affect attack dice until you start playing without attack dice.
In Area 3, I was finally able to get rid of the attack dice in my hand. I accomplished this with a single shred tile that generated in the map, and also by abusing the events that allow you to exchange for other dice. I was able to skip the new dice offered and so basically just discard it. In the treasure tile, I got the Joker relic, which was going to help out massively with my draw issues. I had 9 dice at this point. In the shop, I was able to buy double dip for my prism die, which would be another great help. Again, I was struck by how central attack dice are to the game. When accurate killing the roach enemy, you gain the might modifier, which affects attack dice. If you overkill him, you gain weak, which...
Oh no, I have weak. What will I do? All of my attack dice lose -1 value.
We were approaching the final boss and the end of the run. I could tell I was getting pretty powerful at this point.
And then... poison that guy. Wow. That's a lot. Those numbers are all running together. That's really hard to read what that is. But it ends up being almost 500 poison. Yep, goodbye.
But before we get to the boss fight, I do want to shout out the Jester for being absolutely no help on this run. In fact, you could say this run was a success in spite of the Jester. First, in the Jester event, he put Pointy on a perfectly good D4 block and then wasted Grow on an attack die, which I would never use. Then I tried my hand with the Jester potion to remove a negative property and got the wrong roll. Finally, the Jester super potion rolled a 1. What the heck, man? It turns out, I don't get enough likes on my videos for the Jester to like me. So if you are having fun, please hit the like button. I'm sure this will help me out on future challenge runs. The boss fight went extremely well. I rapidly boosted spots with my prism, boost, and terrain combos and used mirrors to stack block and poison. In almost no time, I had massed over 500 poison stacks on the boss. I had defeated the challenge, but it wasn't enough. I had defeated the challenge on D0 difficulty, but I was here for a challenge. So that means do it again, but this time on D7 difficulty. This took many attempts to get going. You have to be okay with taking damage and doing self-damage. However, if you are too comfortable, then you will die. I found that I tended to be too conservative and blocked a lot. This meant that when my only source of damage was Scarlet Flask, then the result was a really grindy battle.
I'm gonna do Bubble Generator. Crazy person, you're gonna have to call me crazy person now. I'm doing Bubble Generator.
However, not all self-damage relics are created equal. The Bubble Generator deals self-damage and heals you back up at the end of the battle. But when you are doing a grindy and stalling challenge, I definitely do not recommend using this relic.
I have to win in 2 more turns. I think I have a shot. Okay. Oh, nope, that did not work. Okay, we're dead. Yeah, it was close. That is such a bad relic.
So after many failed attempts, I had a good feeling about this one, as I killed this first fly. Well, after a bit of stalling and poisoning anyway. I chose the Amnesia Curse. This actually does not hurt you, unlike most other curses that either directly deal damage or weaken you. Except for a few cases, Amnesia is mostly psychological since you can't calculate the incoming damage. However, I have hundreds of hours in the game and my real ace in the hole was Crazy Person, who had joined the stream. He's done this challenge before and has hundreds of hours to his name as well, and he knows every enemy action. The map RNG was pretty favorable with events and a shred tile scattered early on.
Let's discard that. And we'll go around the shop because we don't need it. This is actually the stress-free gaming experience because I don't need to worry about how much is going to be attacking me because I can't see it, therefore it doesn't exist.
And then the next event was the Jester, and I played him so hard.
Yes, refuse the deal. Mwahaha. You've fallen right into my trap, Mr. Jester.
I got infinite heal. At this point, I was my own worst enemy. Since I was largely unwilling to allow myself to take damage, dying multiple times in a row will do that to you, by the way. Each and every battle was a huge grind fest.
See, Crazy Person, the problem is I don't really want to get hit. My goal is to not get hit.
However, the pain was worth it and I got the Bob Relic, which provided another way to deal damage. I also picked up a pack block D4 since I was going all in on the block stalling. Truly, I was going about this challenge in the grindiest way possible.
Alright, let's focus Bob down on specific enemies because at least that's going to help a little bit. There we go. See, that helps us move faster a little bit. You just say, hey Bob, why don't you go do some damage against this moth over here. Why don't you go do that again? I got a lot of dice for you to play.
I was hoping for the collector event, which would get me a poison die, but instead I got the shopkeeper grasshopper. This got me another D4 pack block, which was super good for my build. At the forge, I upgraded my boost dice as well and made my way toward the shop. The battle in between had an ant, fly, and a mimic that put my strategy to the test. Eventually, even I could see that what I was doing wasn't working.
Here's the new plan. Let's try to take a tiny bit of damage. I'll try a tiny bit harder to take a tiny bit of damage. Let's try that again. Yeah, I took damage. And then let's heal back. Let's take a tiny more bit of damage. Oh, I figured it out. I'm also getting, Bob is actually activating on the ant die too. That's why I was having so much block all the time. All right, and then let's just take a little more because I have infinite heals, so I'm safe. But let's not do that anymore.
The shop rewarded me with a chance to buy double dip, which helps out a ton with the size of my deck. I also put retain on my heal die, allowing it to remain in my hand as a backup even if I didn't need it on the turn I drew it. I went into the Area 1 boss fight and drank a fortify potion. I was fully prepared to stall my way through this very long fight.
This will take a very long time. Unless I die. I could also die pretty quick. Oh no, he's stalling too. We're all stalling.
So then I decided to get hit a little bit. The fight did not take as long as I expected, and it was a really cool experience to play so differently from my normal style.
See, it's not too bad. Look at all my block dice. This is amazing. I've never had this many block dice in my hand ever.
And then I drew Shadow Cloak as the boss reward. This allows me to retain block through the next turn and will basically make me untouchable, assuming I can generate enough block. And with so many block dice in my hand and the new mirror die from the boss rewards, I was pretty sure I could. It was only a matter of time. Very grindy time. This first Area 2 battle with the Axe Bug showcased my ability to stall. I was able to place down so many block dice on the board that I could put them in almost any position and still have decent block output. It wasn't yet stacking block higher and higher, but I would get there. Right now I just needed to hold out long enough for Bob and the poison to do its work. I faced a challenge with a fly, spitter, and mimic floor. The mimic had boosted a bit and the spitter had escalated the number of attacks before I caught on and took a bit of damage. Once I did that, the poison stacks were able to pile up and I was safe again. I made the mirror dice roll 2s, again very powerful with Lister's Ward, and then used the shred tile to discard one of the useless attack dice. There were so many battles on the map generation and each one took forever. I definitely needed a new way to attack, like that poison die.
I thought Area 2 is supposed to be like just full of poison die.
Ahead of the Area 2 Queen Bee boss battle, I was able to discard the final attack die from my hand, and picked up Heroic Backpack from the Forge to help with my copious amounts of block dice. This boss fight was super grindy. With the Royal Jelly and Shadow Cloak, I was able to build up massive amounts of block turn after turn and tank the Queen Bee's massive hits. I was able to very slowly build up poison stacks and win the fight. I was really hoping for the Scales Relic to be able to convert block into damage, but...
No! Oh, that's so bad.
However, I did get Thorns Dice, which was yet another way to do a bit of damage and save me from the grind. The first fight of Area 3 is a Plague Doctor, who also has the Poisonous modifier on D6 and higher difficulties.
Oh, this poison is going to stack a lot faster on me than him.
But I was able to kill him, thankfully. I was aiming for event tiles, in the hopes that the collector event would trigger and give me poison. The first event I hit was actually the Cursed Mirror, and I used it to discard my basic block. I did not pick up the Offensive Mirror. This was one of the rules I had settled on for myself. Offensive Mirror counted as attack dice. The next event was the Hoarse Voice event, and I chose to offer 20 coins to get a rare relic. I ended up picking the Drosophila Pheromones simply because it would make any upcoming elite battles just a little bit shorter. I had one more shot at the collector with a single event tile remaining.
Do I get it more free? Oh! Poison!
Given the massive amounts of stalling my deck could do already, I was confident I could defeat the final boss. However, I was also confident it would take me a half hour. Poison changed that calculation completely. I had the opportunity to dress my build up a bit more at the shop, and then I was there.
Alright, here we go, final boss time. I have not played a single attack die the entire run. So, provided I actually beat this guy, I beat the Duke, then I have won the challenge, and I am a challenge enjoyer, is that? Is that our official title?
I used my potions to jumpstart some damage on the boss and kickstart the poison and thorn stacks. And then I set to work generating massive amounts of block. And that's what I did the rest of the fight. I kept my block high and slowly stacked poison up on the boss, and his health slowly trickled down. Until...
Oh, I got him! We did it! Yay!
I recommend this challenge. I think it's quite approachable and gives a completely new way to play. If you're looking for a video to watch next, check out the one on the screen. And hey, while you're here, why not subscribe for more challenges, tutorials, or just good gameplay? Let me know in the comments if you were able to beat the game without using a single attack, and I'll see you at the next challenge.